Hello people of the earth and welcome back to QuickSave TV. My name is Mike and today we're going to talk about the Fallout 4 Wasteland Workshop official trailer, right? So basically this is going to be my breakdown and analysis of the trailer, not to the extreme extent, but more to the what do we get, which of these features I think should have been in the main game and how much of it is actually connected to us still not having access to the, how do you call the GEC, right? The ability to mod new things into the game and people still need to really waggle about it. They're just trying to be creative and such. So let's take a look at it.
Peggy 18.
Lay that pistol down, baby. Pistol down.
Few days out in the wasteland, and it's time to kick back at home. My home. Made my way.
Pause here. Alright, so in the background we see a building made from concrete, which is really cool, but I really think concrete should have been part of the original game. The only things that we really had was metal and wood, and they were kind of half-assed in reality because you couldn't make metal floors, really. You could make metal, you could kind of make floors, but not really, you know what I mean? You only could make floors with wood, which is really, really weird. No sense having concrete lying all over the place, you know what I mean? Being able to deconstruct it, to being able to use it, and not having anything to place it on besides the concrete base with a wooden top on top of it, right? So the lamp posts, look fantastic. This little thing here looks fantastic. These things look fantastic. I hope we're gonna have this new source of lighting because this looks amazing, you know what I mean? And candles would be really great too, but I don't know if they're gonna add them. These pieces, I don't know if they were in the original game, so I'm not gonna speculate. This little stair here looks nice as well.
One thing about humans, we keep trying to destroy this planet.
Now, the previous thing could be totally chalked up to saying, modders can do it. Absolutely. This thing was not introduced yet, as far as I am aware. Allows you, now, placing this thing below the, on any settlement, basically, on top of any place, on the second floor, on the third floor, inside the building, doesn't matter, it seems to me such, which allows new opportunities for Mechanist Slayer, introduced in the previous DLC. You will be able to place a whole bunch of shit in the settlements. Now, in terms of the game balance, I don't think it will significantly affect the game balance because you can already plant pretty much everywhere, almost everywhere you can plant shit, and you don't really need a lot of shit. Even if you're mass producing adhesive, you really don't need so much space. You need like 4 or 5 settlements to just mass produce shit, so you really don't care. So it's not gonna affect game balance very much, but will add a sweet new opportunity to plant more shit within your settlements.
And the planet just won't let us. Life always finds a way. Time to use this century's advanced technology to my own advantage. To hell with all.
Okay, so this one, I honestly think this is a shit idea, and I will explain why.
This radiation.
What I like in here, I like the floors, obviously. I think it's like metal or concrete floors, I'm not sure. It looks amazing, but this thing looks great too. You will be able to power up your settlements using fusion cores, but do they expand? How much do they last? Is it forever? You know what I mean? How actually balanced this thing is? I don't know, right? I don't know. I hope they don't spend because I will be completely fucked using those things, but it looks great. It looks really, really cool. You will be able to power up more high-tech settlements. But this thing, besides looking amazing, will completely break the fucking balance at the moment, right? In the new survival mode. The radiation is a massive pain in the ass because using Radaway actually makes you more vulnerable to the diseases, which is a massive threat to the player character, Alright, so having this thing and having no side effects will completely fuck the pacing of the game. I don't think it's such a good idea. It's much like they introduce hunger, thirst, and sleep, and they create a machine that magically removes these needs. You know what I mean? Like, if they would do something like this is much akin to what they've done with radiation, and I don't think it's such a good idea, but only time will tell, right? Tell me in comments what you think about it. I think it's a shitty idea, despite the fact that it looks amazing, right? Never mind that. In terms of game balance, I think it's going to be an abysmal idea. Keep going.
Nothing says home like corrugated metal and loose live wires. Hey, it's comfortable.
Alright, so this look amazing, right? And it looks amazing, why? Because there's a lot of life in the picture. Like, new clock looks amazing. Okay, never mind that. The storage sticker looks amazing, never mind that. The fantastic new floors, that looks great. That we should have had on release, truth be told, right? And a whole bunch of shit scattered around, which looks amazing. But You have to remember, you cannot do something like this in the game as it is right now. The shit falls through structure, the shit falls through table. The last time I placed a pistol on top of the fucking table, it shot off the table, you know what I mean? It flew off the table and flew in the outer space. So you can't really do it at the moment. And to really do that, you need the shit that will allow you to lock objects out of gravity, out of game's physics, in order to lock them in place, which we had in Oblivion and Skyrim. The mod was called, I don't remember how it was called, but it was like designer's assistant or architect's assistant, and it was completely instrumental in doing it. But if we would be able to do that, it would be really, really sweet, but we can't at the moment. And another issue is, each of these little objects, right, although looks amazing, adds to the settlement maximum, size, let's put it this way. So you are strictly limited in most places the size of the settlement that you can build, which is a massive pain in the butt. You're not so limited in Sanctuary in some other settlements, but in settlements like even the Red Rocket stop, right? Even the Red Rocket gas station, you are super limited in what you can place. And placing so many things is like building a huge ass barrack for all of your settlers. We're talking 20 settlers. This is the same thing, right? You have to keep it in mind. So although it looks amazing, it's definitely intended to, right? It's basically false advertising because you can't really accomplish that. Disappointed, Bethesda? Don't let me down, boys. I'm placing high hopes on you.
Comfortable. Never said it was safe. Look, I don't always play by the rules, but mostly because out...
Okay, so back up a little bit.
Look,
This look amazing, obviously. No need to say that. Here. This claw looks like a Mirelurk Hunter or Mirelurk Queen claw, which looks amazing. These things look, as far as I can tell, like you have a gun placed on top of them, but I'm not sure, right? This looks amazing. These saws and the pressure plates and such look amazing. Let's finish watching that. I'm going to give you 2 cents on that.
but mostly because out here in the Commonwealth,
This thing.
there are no rules.
Sweet! But, if we're talking about them strictly, right? I don't know how much we will be able to build such complicated structures. It sounds amazing on paper, and I like that some of them are activated without, the pressure plates appear to be activating without any involvement from the player or having any triggers. It just activates. I don't know how it works, right? But those look really sweet. I would definitely use those if I am able to. But we have to see how much we will be able to improvise with them. And these things are probably the strongest part of the DLC. Capacity, your ability, your new capacity to capture and dominate creatures, to use them as the forces to defend the settlement, and use them to, as a, an object within the arena.
New world? You may not be able to stop the nightmares.
This thing, Beta Wave Emitter. I really need that in my household for my cats, because they keep pissing me off. This thing... Okay, so probably the only way you will be using this thing is to use the captured creatures to defend your settlement. I don't know how useful it will be, but it's nice that they're incorporating more of these features, the Animal Friend and Wasteland Whisperer, into being the required components to use this thing. Beta Wave Emitter will allow you to reinforce your guys with creatures, and it might help you with these fights against super mutants with rocket launchers. This will definitely be helpful, especially in hardcore mode. But I really don't know how useful it will be, right? Only time will tell. And, I don't know. But it's definitely one gameplay feature that is, was not explored in mods, and I think it's kind of cool.
But you can control them.
We have the technology, baby. And now you are able to capture cats, and if you noticed right there, dogs, right? Capturing dogs allows you to reinforce your settlements a little bit with higher defense and happiness, and I expect the same thing will be with cats, only more focus on happiness. This is really good, especially if you want to get that sweet achievement for 100 happiness without busting your ass, because at the moment it's a little bit complicated, but as a thing it's great, because my settlers definitely require more cats and dogs. That sounds fantastic. And being able to do that is just great. Because at the moment, the only way to get a dog, is to find a guy in the game world and persuade him, convince him to buy a dog for your settlement. Which is, from one perspective, having this dog cage is amazing because it allows you to capture dogs using the canned dog food, right, which you have to store now. But at the same time, it kind of devalues the guy. So I'm kind of worried about that, but it's definitely something to consider, but it's great overall, you know what I mean? Because this guy is really, really hard to find.
Lied and she wished that I was dead.
What? So, maybe I get lonely sometimes. Capturing
Capture a hand then, right?
them is fun. But letting them out? Hell yeah. That's right. Entertain me.
It looks amazing. It looks amazing, but we really need to see how will it work, right? Can you place bets? Does it increase happiness? What does it do? Can you participate in these fights? How do you actually capture creatures? You know what I mean? Who captures creatures? How do you do it? You place the cage and the creature spawns inside? Is that how it works? How does it work? You know what I mean? We need to know more about it and how exactly this arena thing will work. In a nutshell, you know, on paper, it sounds amazing, but I need to see more of it to really tell you, you know, if I like it or not.
Sometimes it feels like everything in the Commonwealth wants to kill you. Are they threats? Nah. Decorations.
And these things are the decor, right? We're talking about mounted heads and such stuffed animals. This really should have been in the original game. No excuse, dude. Like, I mean, honestly, okay, look at this way. In the original game, we have 4 mounted heads on a wall, right? We have the mole rat, Radstag, a Brahmin, and whom did I miss? Mole rat, Brahmin, Radstag, fucking Myrler Claw, right? Myrler Claw. I cannot speak today, I'm sorry guys. So like, yeah, we have these things already. Why not have more of those things from the start, you know, from the get-go? I get it, they were busy or whatever, but I mean, dude, we had half of them. Either have all of them or have none of them, you know what I mean? What's the point, right? And this Radstag here, I mean, it's already in the game, right? So I don't know how I feel about that. It really should have been in the original game. Just as with the concrete things, I think it should have been in the original game. But okay, fine, they're adding it here at least. If not, if it's not gonna be like this, the modders will add them, so, you know, you don't have to buy the DLC for it. At least I hope so.
I never was the type to want my name up in lights. But sometimes you just need to advertise.
And again, kind of false advertising, right? Not really, but it looks amazing. It looks really pretty. But the thing is, will we actually be able to spell shop like this? You know, I mean, spell shit like this sounds great, right? But this is massive amount of shit, which will heavily impact your maximum size of the settlement. Something to consider when you do that. So don't get, you know, pretty lights, dude. I like them too, but we really don't know if we will be able to do a lot with that. And I am majorly unconvinced by this whole shebang. And let's finish watching now. And so yeah, the House of Grace comes up with the second DLC. And overall doesn't sound bad, right? Doesn't sound bad. Doesn't sound great necessarily, but for $5 you get a whole bunch of new gameplay features in terms of capturing cats, capturing dogs, capturing death claws and shit, building your own arena, and getting a whole bunch of things that you can build in your settlements. They are not necessary. They are not too broken, let's put it this way. A couple of things are really bad. Radiation cleansing, as I've mentioned to you. So yeah. So honestly, I don't know, right? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. Overall, I'm kind of excited about it, but I don't know. I hope it's not going to be a second Hearthfire for Skyrim. Remember when Hearthfire came out, I was really critical of it because I felt like it was lacking. Because there was already a DLC, a modification that allowed you to do similar things, and to greater extent in some aspects, only you couldn't adopt children, and I could care less for that, seeing as they are adopted, so yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, if you finished watching the video up to this point, write the two-headed cow in comments, and be sure to tell me what you think about this whole thing. What do you feel about it? Are you excited? Are you not excited? What do you think about the features that should have been implemented? I mean, objectively, dude, half of these mounted heads should have been in the game, right? No exception, no excuse, right? And where's mutant mounted heads, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's my 2 cents. I thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Oh, also note before I leave, I'm totally working on something cool, so just bear with me. I'm just trying to not make mistakes that I've made with some of my Skyrim content. I'm trying to make it better, you know what I mean? And it takes time, it takes research. So this is basically what I'm doing to fill up the time. I just seen the trailer and was like, oh yeah, dude, I have to do it, right? So it's not something that you will be seeing a lot of, but it's something that I'm doing when I have the time. So yeah, thank you again. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.